Well, so Jim, we just saw those dragsters going down the track. What on earth do those cars have to do with you?
Well, I understand that my whole life has been race cars and drag racing, and all the way up till I retired. And so, I know just about anything about them, and because I'm always with them.
So how many years did you spend in drag racing?
Well, I started out when I was in eighth grade, I think it was, and I left when I was, in 58 years.
50 years.
Yeah.
And you finished up the last part of your career. You were the general manager for was it Seattle International Raceways?
Yes, for sure. And that was 25 years of being at SIR, and it's actually 4 racetracks.
Well, I think any of us who've ever gone to the drag races, I know I took my sons to them, and it makes your chest thunder when those cars take off. What is it like to drive one of those cars to be?
Well, myself, I did race, and I used my Anglia, and it had a 450 cubic inch blown Chrysler motor inside of that, and it went 162 in the quarter mile. Of course, mine, you have to understand that there's an end to the deal because I rolled the thing over in Eugene, Oregon.
Wow.
That wasn't fun at all.
That wasn't fun at all. What are those cars like?
I can remember way back when I was real young, and it's kind of ho-hum and whatever, but these things are, it's 10,000 horsepower, and it's unreal.
For the top end dragsters, what is a top speed for them in a quarter mile?
They're up to 333 miles an hour in 1,000
yards.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so 330 miles an hour and 1,000 yards.
Yes, they don't do a lot of the quarter mile anymore, just because the cars go so fast and have to shut off. Sometimes they end up in the weeds at the other end.
So, I think to a lot of, maybe guys especially, we would think that here you are deep in the racing world, you're running these tracks, you're with these amazing cars, you're having a lot of success there. Life has to be pretty good at that point. And yet, I've read your story, we've talked a bit, and here you are at kind of the pinnacle of your career, and yet something was missing in your spiritual story.
Absolutely. This happened around in 70s, and what happened was I was under just incredible trying to do all this with 4 race car tracks, and I had a wife that went away and all that too, and it was just all of that mess, and I was out running and trying to coming up with an idea. What am I going to do? Where do I go? I'm just broken. I was a broken man at that point. And here's a small little church right there, and I just said, wow, I need this. And I just walked right over there, felt like I was pushed over there, which is wonderful. And we opened the door, and all these Christian folks were right, and they just pulled me right in. And then of course, here's the actual original book.
This is the Bible you got.
Yeah, and here if you go right. I'm sorry, right here, the back of here.
Oh, go back a page.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there we go. If you get in on that, right here at the bottom, August 14th, 1977.
Yes.
What happened on August 14th, 1977, Jim?
Well, obviously, right at that point, I accepted Christ, and I know that was a whole new life for me at that point. And I'm in the kind of a business that's, a little bit tough with the race cars and dealing with those. And I just knew that I needed to look more to Him. Christ was in my life, changing things daily, and I went to a little church in Kent, and it was hard to do because I couldn't leave the racetrack on a Sunday afternoon and go over there, but I always worked it out.
So What are some things that changed in your life once you met Jesus?
Well, everything. I mean, literally everything.
Huh.
I did. I just, all the things that I did and shouldn't have been doing, and and I just love the whole thing. I love the book, and I love Christ, and I just got a lot of people that are brand new that I never knew, Christian people, and here I am. Here they come, and we're getting together, and more so and more so and more so, and it was wonderful.
Part of your story I enjoy is what I know happened when you finally retired. Because you retired, but you didn't really retire. You got involved in an area of ministry. What did you get involved in as you retired out of racing?
Well, first of all, I started writing stories on racing because I had all that stuff spinning around in my head. And that was the first bit that went along for quite some time. And then what I wanted to do was put a book together, and I didn't know how to do it, but I knew that I wanted to, and the thing that I really wanted to do, because I know that these are going to people that are hot rodders and around the world.
Yeah.
And so I want to do my own, chapter of the thing done by me with everything but Christ and exactly why and what and who and why.
With your testimony in it.
Yes,
And then you got involved with Union Rescue Mission.
I did.
And why the Union Rescue Mission, and what did you do with them?
Well, it's kind of an interesting story because I was trying to come up with the promotion things because I did that forever, And I happened to see their they had an ad in a paper, and I thought, well, why don't I go see who they are? And I go over and shake hands and say, do you have any, material here that I could get from you and just kind of see if there's something I could do? And I went home, and my wife and we made some letters up, and we aimed it at, the Thanksgiving. And I went to them and shook hands and said, we want to do things. And then we just started hooking up with money from around our home. And then that got bigger and bigger and then went all the way for 15 years.
Wow. Well, I think what a great example of taking a lifetime being a promoter for races and taking that set of skills and turning that into, for your retirement, promoting a cause for the gospel, helping with the Union Rescue Mission. And it's a great story.
It is a great story.
Great story of what God's done in your life, both all those years of racing and bringing you to himself and in the years since then. So thank you very much for sharing it.
I appreciate that, and I thank you, and I really like the church here, and it's just a wonderful place, and I just thank you for that too.